should you buy or should you rent? This is a question I've discussed with clients, whether we're talking about buying a rental property, whether we're talking about a vacation home or a starter home for the kids. And so that question, should you buy or should you rent? Keeping in mind, it is a two-part question, part personal, part finance, because personal finance does involve both. Today, we're going to talk about the finance piece of it. Because personal, everyone's different, everyone's situation is different and what is important to them, but we're just going to talk about the numbers. And we're going to discuss what has changed only in a few years for the financial mechanics behind that question, should you buy or should you rent? And so let's dig into some of the numbers. This chart here goes back to 2020, and there's this graph up at the top that says, okay, if it's dark gray, it's cheaper to buy. If it's dark red, it's cheaper to rent. And as you can see, most of the country is in that dark gray zone, which means it is much cheaper to buy than it is to rent. There's some areas that aren't, but for the most part, you see a lot of gray and a lot of dark gray here. Now, why was that? Well, in 2020, as you probably know, prices were quite a bit lower. The other piece of that, in addition to prices being lower, interest rates were dramatically lower than they are today. And so what happens when we take higher interest rates and prices continue to rise at the same time? We move to today. So 2023, moving into 2024, this is what the map looks like now. And the same graph applies, which means red and pink is cheaper to rent, right? Dark gray is cheaper to buy. And as you can see, now in most of the country, it is dramatically cheaper to rent than it is to buy. Now, this is not a thorough analysis. All markets are different. However, when you look at buying versus renting, and you increase the price, which is one lever, and then you increase your interest rates, which is another lever, it creates a dramatic increase in your payment that rents just have not been able to keep up with in order to keep up with the price of buying. And so what does this mean? Really, all it means is, again, whether you're looking at a property for yourself, a property for a family member, or a property as an investment, when you're considering, should you be buying property, sometimes the decision is personal, sometimes it is financial. Now, if it's personal, again, that's one thing. But if it is financial, keep in mind that it is dramatically more expensive to buy property currently than it is to rent property. And also keep in mind, these scenarios don't last forever, right? Prices go up and down. Interest rates go up and down. And so if you find yourself in a situation where you might be saying, I need to buy before it's too late, that's usually not a good position to be in. And so when you're looking at rent or when you're looking at buying, just make sure that you know the numbers. I hope you found this helpful. And as always, thanks for investing your time with the Personal CFO.